Hello, and welcome to the first development log for Farmer in the Fallout. It's a game I've just started working on about a month ago, and I'm trying to do weekly devlogs now. But it's heavily inspired by Stardew Valley, which is an awesome farming game. It's also kind of role-playing-ish. But it takes place in a much more difficult setting. Like, it's not an idyllic valley. It's a world after some kind of nuclear war. And that makes farming really difficult due to fallout, hence the title. Fallout is radioactive particles that generally settle back down to the earth in dust or rain. And they're usually heavy metals, like in the case of the Fukushima power plant. And I believe that this means that they've got extra neutrons on them, so they're radiating these neutrons off of the metal over time, and that's called gamma radiation. It pierces through atoms, like it pierces through things at the atomic level. Well, pierces through cells, and can actually change the DNA of things, which is where we get radiation mutation. So this game is kind of like a much more conflicted world for a farming role-playing game to take place in. And I'll show you what I've done so far. So right now I'm hoeing up the ground. I've picked up these random items. I just put them on the ground for test purposes. So you can hoe up the ground with a hoe. You can plant. And I specifically chose sunflowers for an important reason as the first plant for this game. Sunflowers have a property that, most things have, but they're specifically good at it, and that's that they absorb those heavy metals from the soil, like in an area where it's already been irradiated. So in my abstraction of that for the game, any plant you plant adjacent to sunflowers will have a lowered chance of radiation every time it rains. So it didn't rain today. Day 3 now, I'm just skipping ahead. But when it does, you've got an 80% chance of having a crop irradiated. And when it's adjacent to a sunflower, that lowers it by 10%. And you've got a max of 8 it can be near, so you can totally surround something. But once that sunflower is irradiated, it's not going to protect it as well in the game. You can look into this yourself at on the internet. Just like search for Fukushima sunflowers, and you'll see that they've planted sunflowers near the Fukushima accident, and they're hoping that that helps the soil return to its former not irradiated goodness. So you can see these are growing every day a little bit. Each day has another sprite, so you can see every little bit of advancement that the plant's doing. And now it rained for the first time. This is just some basic, like, shallow rain, sort of, or light rain. Here we've got the first irradiated bits on the corners. As you can see, the middle ones aren't affected, and the one underneath the glass is not affected either. So glass is kind of a big deal in your farm in this, because you can cover up your crops and not have to worry about the rain messing them up. I'm probably going to change it so that the rain doesn't water them, because if it could do that, it could irradiate as well. But for now, your crops are still watered by rain, even if they're underneath the overhang here. And you can place these anywhere in your farm, and they reflect the sunlight. I did that. I'm doing development in Game Maker, and weird that you can see the sun on a rainy day. I'll have to change that, but you can see a reflection of the sky in this glass. So the way that works is I've got a separate surface which I'm drawing a sky color to, I'm drawing the sun to, and that surface is the size of the screen, because reflections are generally from where you're looking. The sky doesn't like move around as you walk around that much, unless you're walking hundreds of miles. It draws everything to the surface, and then it sets the alpha of that surface to 0 for every pixel, and then it just clears the whole thing. And then redraws the alpha using these glass sections, which reveals that, kind of like a hidden picture where you'd color in and, you know, reveal whatever it was. Okay, it's raining again, and crops are growing. I've got an inventory system. That took a little while. Obviously I'll have a lot less to show each future week because you can only do so much in 1 week. You have stacks different items. Can't stack certain items. There's also hidden variables on each of these items, like for the seeds there's a freshness variable that will go down over time. There's quality. Yeah. Let me go to another rainy day. Rain is the only sound in the game so far, but when you walk underneath roofs, you notice that the sound changes. It lowers the pitch and it lowers the volume a little bit. And I think that's a pretty cool effect for immersion. I mean, it'll also do the same thing when you go indoors, but it'll be even lower volume. Because rain isn't really the same way. I mean, the same sound everywhere you are when you're under a roof, when you're out of a roof. And another thing, I guess the latest thing, I drew this nice little house. Hopefully I'll get better at pixel art through this whole thing. There's a lighting system currently, and obviously you can see it better at nighttime, but during the daytime there is darkness cast by the clouds. Currently it's just a whole darkness based on how cloudy it is on average, but I could add individual cloud shadows in the future. At nighttime you have a little basic light around you to show what you can see, and you have these sparks that come off of rocks when you hit them with a hoe. That happens in the daytime too, but at night you can see them a little better. And that's about it for now. Next week I'll have more to show, and probably trees at least. Yeah, and you can also see the finished sunflowers, which move as you walk through them. So thanks for checking up on development, and I hope to give you more information on Farmer and the Fallout in the future. Thanks. Bye.